is when you go into low-income areas, there's more gambling shops.
Morgan casually drops this observation about low-income areas having way more gambling shops, and Steven just doesn't let it go. What follows is a story he says he's never actually told anyone before, and it's a rough one.
I guess brings me to the first chapter in your book where you talk about the stories of money that we have and where they've come from. And something that's always baffled me is when you go into low-income areas, there's more gambling shops.
Yeah.
And I can attest to it. When I was 18, 19 years old and I'm shoplifting pizzas to feed myself and I'm doing all sorts of stuff. When I got my student loan in, I was in university for one day and they gave me like the first payment of my student loan. I don't think I've ever said this before. I put the entirety of the payment on a bet.
Wow.
And I lost it in injury time of that football match. I don't bet.
And did you need that money for tuition? Like it was then gone.
I needed it to eat.
Yeah.
I wasn't speaking. I had no money. I didn't come from money. My parents. I'd gone to university with 50 quid, and I got this like £1,000 sent to me from student loan, whatever. I was so reckless with money when I didn't have money.
Yeah.
The minute I got money, it's like everything just chilled the fuck out, and I became really long-term, patient. I made really responsible decisions. I stopped buying flashy things. I don't even own a TV now.
I'm very similar. I feel like the more money I have, the less my material desires are. For sure. And when I say that out loud, I'm like, oh, absolutely.
So Steven just admitted to blowing his tuition money on a bet as a broke teenager. And Morgan uses that exact confession as a launchpad into a statistic that stops the conversation cold. What he says next reframes something most people just call stupid.
Why is that when we have less, we are reckless with our money?
Well, I think there's two sides to this. One of my theories is that what everyone wants in the world is respect and admiration from other people. And there's kind of two ways to get that. You can get your respect and admiration through your wisdom, through your love, through your humor. Or if you don't have that to offer to the world, you're going to get it through your material possessions. So if you can gain respect and admiration through your business success, your wisdom, your love, your friendship, great, then you're going to get it and you're going to fulfill that bucket. If you can't get it from those things, then you're like, well, might as well show off my car. It's all I got to do. That's all I have. I think that's one side of it. So as you become more successful, your desire to show off diminishes because you're gaining respect and admiration through other things that are not material. The other side of this that's so important is that, I saw this statistic years ago that the poorest 10% of Americans buy like 80% of the lottery tickets in America. And these are people who can like barely feed themselves. The lowest 10%, they're literally struggling to put a roof over their head and feed themselves, are going out hand over fist buying scratcher tickets. And the knee-jerk reaction when you hear that is, morons? What are you doing, you idiot? And maybe that is the right reaction, but I started thinking about it and it was like, okay, maybe if you try to put yourself in those people's shoes, maybe they would say something like this. If you are stuck in a low-income job and you feel like there's no way out, you feel like you don't have the opportunity to work your way up the ladder, become an entrepreneur, you feel like you're stuck in this position. Buying a lottery ticket might be the only thing in life that gives you a little bit of hope. It might be what feels like literally your only ticket to get out. And that might be not something that you and I feel like because we at least feel like we might have other opportunities.
You're so right, because when I gambled, what I then did the same day before the result of my bet or my lottery ticket came in, and I said this to my team the other day, is I would go on Rightmove and like Auto Trader and look at stuff that I would buy if I won.
Yeah. I think there's a sense too that if you are stuck in a lower spot in life, if you have a feeling that the world is unfair, and very often it is, so maybe that might be the right mindset. But if you feel the world is unfair, then it's very natural to think, I might as well cheat too. If the world's unfair, why not? Might as well cheat. And I think that, at least at some level, has some explanation for the relationship between poverty and crime.
That word hope is so true.
I think it's true too.
It gives you just a glimpse of hope because it gives you, even if it's a 0.00001% chance.
If it's the only thing in your day that made you smile a little bit, made you feel like you had a little bit of hope, and then I get why they do it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think a lot about here is that if you are in a low income job and you're working graveyard shifts and you're exhausted and you're taking 3 buses to get your kids to school, if the only thing that day that gives you a little bit of pleasure is a cigarette and some alcohol, I get it. I totally get it. And that's also the relationship between health and poverty is a lot of that too. So it's very easy for people who are of higher means to look down at those people and point out all the bad decisions that they're doing in life. But I think you underestimate how much that desire to just have a little bit of hope, a little bit of pleasure. And if those feel like your only avenues for hope and pleasure, maybe that's the explanation for at least part of it.